Hey there fans in Comic Land, it's Leila here for this week's comic book reviews from the Comic Connection. And first up we've got Alan Moore's Neonomicon Hornbook with art by Jason Burrows. So in this preview to the upcoming series that's coming out in August, which is a sequel to a story that was done before by Alan Moore called The Courtyard. We focus in on two FBI agents who are tracking down a murderer that has a familiar MO to someone that is already been caught, who's being housed in a high-security psychiatric hospital. So they go to visit murderer number one to try and get some tips about murderer number two, who might be a copycat. But the trick of it all is that this former murderer, or this murderer that's been caught, used to be an FBI agent. And also there's some sinister stuff going on that we don't really seem to know about. This was not really bad for a preview book. It was pretty good. It made me excited for the series, which, you know, that's the job of a preview book. You get the sense that a lot more is going on to this whole murder investigation than it seems. It seems like if you're a fan of like Fringe, then you might find this kind of interesting. With more storytelling and Burroughs art, it looks like it's going to be a worthwhile series to pick up. So grab the preview book and see what it's all about. Next up, we've got AVP 3 World War #1. This is by Randy Stradley and Rick Leonardi. So in this one, a human colony is attacked by some predators who are using aliens sort of as weapons for war. They've sort of tamed them somehow. So the Colonial Marines approach Makio Noguchi for help, and this is a woman who fought alongside the predators in a previous series. And they try and find out from her what she thinks might be the root of this new collaboration, because they can't really understand, you know, why the predators would team up with them, or how they would be able to tame these aliens, or why they've changed their whole hunting pattern. So I gotta say, I really like this. The story's good, the art's good, way better than the Aliens vs. Predator movies. So if you like those two properties, but then were disappointed by the movies, this is probably a perfect thing for you to pick up, because this is really well done. So make sure to pick it up. Next up, we've got Angel, number 29. This is by Bill Willingham and Brian Denham. And in this issue, we find out kind of where Angel has disappeared to, and we find out a little bit about the why and the how through a series of flashbacks beginning 9 days before his disappearance. So, I gotta say, I'm kind of loving this Angel storyline. I have a little bit of reservations about Angel being famous and everybody knowing that he's a vampire, but it has really yielded an interesting storyline that we start to see take shape in this book. So if you're an Angel fan, but you were a little put off by, you know, the previous couple storylines, this might be a good point to jump on. This story actually starts in Angel number 28. But I gotta say that, you know, Denham's art is perfect for Angel, and really, Willingham's storytelling is more like Joss's to me. The characters sound more like that. So, you know, if you're a fan, this is a good way to jump back onto the series. And last but not least, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 617 by Joe Kelly and Max Fiumara. So in this one, the gauntlet continues, which is where Peter's facing a lot of villains from his past, and they just keep on coming at him. So in this issue, the focus is on Rhino. But it's kind of a new Rhino that's different, and we don't really know what his agenda is or who's pulling the strings. So I found this a very interesting book, because it wasn't the typical just Rhino smash story, and it was kind of really heartfelt. You felt, you know, Peter's pain at trying to balance his life still, you know, between Spider-Man and having, you know, his life as Peter Parker, and also you really felt for the Rhino character. I won't say which one, because there's actually two in here. So overall, I'm kind of really liking Gauntlet, and I'm really liking Spider-Man again. So if you sort of jumped off of Spidey for a while there, I think this Gauntlet series is a good place for you to start back on for some classic storytelling villains.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic reviews. First up, Posefile Pocket manga by Guru EFX. And in this one, it's basically a how to draw book that's an indispensable photo reference guide for artists that will help them with action poses and more. Now, this is a little bit weird because my friend Bill's wife, Hiroko, is actually the model in this book, so yeah, it's weird to see your friend's wife in action poses and everything, but other than that, it's a cool reference guide for for any artist out there that might be starting out and trying to figure out how do I draw this reference pose or this action pose. It's the perfect guide to do that. And this one's for females, so the next one will probably be for males. So if you're an artist and you need help getting reference for action poses and whatnot, this is your perfect guide. Check it out. Next up, Skydoll, Dolls Factory number 2, written and drawn by Alessandro Barbucci and Barbara Canepa. And this one, which collects sketches, interviews, rough drafts, pinups, and short stories that tell more about the world of Skydoll, well, it's the perfect continuation of a really great European series. I'm a huge fan of Skydoll. I've been following it for years, ever since it was originally in French. Now I don't have to spend $40 a volume getting it, which is always nice. But $5.99, it's a stiff price tag, but it's totally worth it. If you've never tried out a Skydoll book, read it. You'll be impressed. It's beautiful art, beautiful story. I can't recommend Skydoll enough. It's just that good. Next up, Transformers, number 3, written by Mike Costa with art by Dom Figueroa. And in this one, Hot Rod's desire to get off the planet leads to some desperate measures, and Optimus Prime, who is now held captive by the humans, is given an ultimatum. Well, I'm starting to like Don's work on this book, but I still hate the faces. The artwork is fantastic, but right as soon as you look at the Transformers' faces, it's just, well, vomit-inducing is the best word I can say for it. Story-wise, it's okay. It's getting better as it goes along, but I really like Don's work, but I just can't get over the damn faces. It's just that bad. Now, one of the things is this takes place between Last Stand on the Wreckers number 1 and Bumblebee number 2. So you actually have to kind of read those ones to actually know what's going on in this book, because there were a few sections where I'm going, what the hell is going on? So it's not a bad book, it's just that you have to read other books to actually know what's going on, which unfortunately means more money from your pocketbook. But overall, it's not a bad read. And last but not least, Buffy number 31, written by Joss Whedon with art by George Dante. And this one, Willow tries to defeat the giant Tibetan goddesses, while Xander, Buffy, and Dawn have a little chat about the birds and the bees. Yeah, Xander and Dawn are now an item. Yeah, Joss? Can we have a little talk here? I mean, really? Really? Someone half Xander's age is now his girlfriend? It just doesn't work for me. I would have loved to have seen Buffy and Xander finally get together after, what is it, like 15 years now? But no! You have to go and do the whole, oh, let's do it with Buffy's sister, who's not really her sister, but you know, if you're a Buffy fan, you obviously know what's going on there. Story-wise, it's okay. It's good to see some actual growth in some of the characters, but really? Joss? Really? Xander and Dawn? Really? We'll see you next week.